is a very loud corner of the internet right now telling you to stop saving your money. The argument is that waiting on a traditional savings account to outpace inflation is a trap, and that passive accumulation leaves you completely exposed to real-world emergencies. Instead, these modern financial voices pitch an alternative they call the liquidity sprint. The premise is strict. You engineer a $500 capital floor from absolute scratch, utilizing a highly intentional 48-hour execution window. This strategy relies entirely on rapid, high-frequency actions. Think micro-freelance gigs or direct sales outreach. You capture the cash through instant payout platforms, trading perfection for sheer velocity. This leaves you with a very real dilemma. You have limited time and energy. Do you dedicate those resources to slowly building a traditional savings cushion, or do you pivot to aggressive, on-demand micro-revenue? Matching the wrong strategy to your current reality carries severe consequences. You will either find yourself without cash when an immediate crisis hits, or you will trap yourself in an exhausting cycle of perpetual hustle. To make the right choice, you have to stop looking at these as financial philosophies and start looking at them as mechanical engines. One is built for slow accumulation, and the other is built for instant activation. This chart shows exactly how these models behave. On the left, traditional accumulation is passive. Capital climbs upward with low volatility. On the right, the sprint model generates sudden, chaotic bursts of cash. That flow stops the minute you stop working, returning instantly to zero. Because these engines operate on entirely different timelines and require different types of energy, we need to evaluate them coldly against one another to see which actually provides real security. Let's look at the foundation of traditional savings, stripping away the financial jargon to see how it actually functions. This matrix breaks down the inputs and outcomes of both strategies. Looking at the active rows for traditional savings, you can see the primary requirement. To make this work, you must consistently lock away a percentage of your existing income over a long time horizon. It requires capital, but it requires almost zero active effort on your part once the system is set up. The outcome is highly reliable. Your capital slowly grows in the background, preserving your future purchasing power through the math of passive compounding. But that slow compound growth offers zero immediate help if an unexpected medical bill or car repair exceeds the liquid cash you currently hold. There is also a hard barrier to entry built into the accumulation model that personal finance advice often ignores. Savings is a multiplier. If your current bank account balance is zero and your disposable income is zero, the math breaks down. A high interest rate applied to zero capital yields exactly zero. Traditional savings is an incredibly powerful tool for securing your future over decades. It is simply the wrong mechanism for surviving a cash crisis on a Tuesday afternoon. That brings us to the mechanics of the liquidity sprint. The matrix updates to highlight the operational timeline and the intense energy demands required to activate the strategy. The input here is extreme. You are dedicating 48 hours of high-volume micro-freelance work, immediate gig labor, or aggressive direct sales outreach. The outcome is instant cash settlement. You generate tangible revenue from absolute scratch, bypassing the waiting period of a biweekly paycheck. The trade-off here is physical and mental bandwidth. If you try to use this intense execution cycle as your primary, sustained strategy, you will guarantee your own burnout. Pulling this off requires a strict mindset of speed over strategy. You have to actively avoid the urge to perfect your offer or build a complex business plan. By abandoning careful planning, you force rapid market feedback. You find out immediately what people will pay for, securing those short-cycle payouts. But prioritizing speed has a hidden cost. By focusing only on the next 48 hours, you actively sacrifice long-term reputation building, client retention, and the scalable infrastructure of a real business. The sprint is a highly effective tactical strike when you need cash today. It is a disastrous plan for the next 10 years of your life. The advice to universally abandon your savings account relies on a false choice. Accumulation and activation are complementary tools. This chart maps the right tool to your reality based on time horizon and financial mechanism. The sprint model sits firmly in the immediate and active quadrant. Traditional savings sits securely in the decades and passive quadrant. If you are time-rich but capital-poor, you are likely facing an acute cash flow vulnerability. That means a single overdue bill threatens your stability right now. For you, the sprint model is the exact right play. You need to trade your available sweat equity for immediate solvency. However, if you are time poor and capital rich, your situation requires a different approach. You already rely on a steady income from a demanding career, leaving you with very little free bandwidth. You should stick strictly to traditional savings. Do not drain primary career energy trying to run exhausting 48-hour hustle sprints on the weekends. If you fall somewhere in the middle, the side hustle explorer, you can bridge the gap. You can run intense liquidity sprints periodically, taking those immediate cash injections and feeding them directly into your long-term passive savings. True financial resilience happens when you stop treating these concepts as competitors. You need the active engine and the passive engine working together. Treat the liquidity sprint as an emergency shock absorber to survive a bad week. Rely on traditional savings as the concrete foundation to secure your next decade.